As winter looms, the choice between heating and eating is becoming even more difficult. As prices rise, so does the number of people becoming ever more reliant on food banks.
If I take anything, I don't take more than one. I always say, leave one for the next person. I can manage with one, or I'll make myself manage with one thing.
At a food bank in Manchester, I met Dean. He's a diabetic, and he told me that without the support he's received, there's a good chance he'd be dead. Tell me about how you first came to be using a food bank.
I first came to use a food bank when I lost my job. I lost my job as an engineer, and I had no money. I was using the job centre, and they knocked me down to about £200 and odd a month, and I couldn't afford food in certain parts of the month.
Dean is not alone. Over the last 5 years, the need for food banks has increased by a massive 81%. For some, it's the only choice they have. I'm here at FareShare Greater Manchester, a charity that helps over 50,000 people every year. Now, given the cost of living crisis, the work they're doing here is so vital, and the amount of production that goes into it is massive. We're just about to go on one of the many deliveries that they do here every single day.
Thank you.
A short drive away, we arrive at the so-called social supermarket, where for just £4, local residents can buy a week's worth of food. How important is the social supermarket, especially now given the cost of living crisis, when people are struggling to feed their families?
Yeah, so we've seen quite an increase. The kind of graph has been going up this way. It's such a worry for people to pay the bills. And we've had people that before the cost of living crisis were just about managing to hold on and pay their bills.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing completely different, is that of course those very vulnerable families are still vulnerable, but we're seeing families coming that are in full-time employment and still they can't pay their bills.
This social supermarket is just one of over 200 places supported by FareShare Greater Manchester. Back at the depot, volunteers are still working tirelessly to support as many people as possible.
We give out to charities and pantries, people who can't afford food. We get a lot of collections that come in, and we distribute it out to people that have got no money basically and they can't afford anything.
Launched in 2008, the aim of FareShare is twofold: to combat food poverty and to combat food waste in and around Manchester.
If we didn't have FareShare, there'd be a lot of hungry people out there. The way the world's going now, there's going to be a lot of people that is going to be in this situation where they can't afford food.
People up and down the UK are facing starvation this winter, and the number of food banks continues to rise. The question now: what more can be done to help those who are struggling most? Sophie Reaper, GB News.